Hey everyone, it's OZChris. Welcome to OZChris vs. Marvel Comics, where I review each week's Marvel's releases for New Comic Book Day. So this is June 5th's releases. So we have Black Cat #1, Guardians of the Galaxy Annual #1, Marvel Team Up #3, Savage Avengers #2, and New Agents of Atlas #3. So starting off with the rookie, the new child of the group, Black Cat #1. So this is her all-new ongoing series, Black Cat, written by Jed MacKay, art by Travel Foreman, coloring by Brian Reber, the cover by J. Scott Campbell and Sabine Rich. So, spinning off from the story arc, she was featured in an Amazing Spider-Man with the Thieves Guild. Felicia arrives at the Frick Collection. She's obviously there for a heist. She succeeds in her heist despite interactions with Odessa Drake, the head of the Thieves Guild in New York, and by Sonny Ocampo, someone who knows her reputation and is trying to stop her. She succeeds in her heist. She's assisted by two criminals that were a part of her first crew, her first ever breakout in this scenario to free her father from jail. But as they escape, they are attacked by the Thieves Guild. Felicia gets into her Black Cat attire to fight them off, and they are able to succeed, fighting off both the Thieves Guild and stopping Sonny Ocampo from any attempt of being stopped by him. And as they head back to their hideout, they are greeted by an older friend from, well, we'll see if he's a friend or not, somebody from Black Cat's past. So, story, I'm going to give this 3.5 out of 5. It has a very interesting premise of Black Cat versus the Thieves Guild. She's still trying to live her normal cat burglar life, but her actions with Spider-Man during that arc with the Thieves Guild haven't gone unnoticed, and they're going to get her revenge on her one day or another. And also, Felicia's past is catching up with her as well. So there's an interesting premise there. I'll see how the second issue goes if I want to go fully into it, continue on with this series. The art by Foreman, the coloring by Reber, 3 out of 5. It was average. Weirdly enough, I think I like the art and coloring a bit more in these action scenes when the car escape scenes were probably where I like the art and coloring the best. But the art and coloring overall is average. There are some parts where the art looked a bit stiff, almost digital, but it was very average looking art. And the cover by J. Scott Campbell and Sabine Rich, 4.5 out of 5. That's a great looking cover. You can't go wrong with JSC covers, really. So I think this was the main reason I picked this up, because it's one beautiful looking Black Cat cover. And there's a couple of extra stories in here as well. They don't really have particularly anything to do with this main one. So this honestly didn't need to be a $4.99 issue. This could have just been $3.99. Just get rid of those 2 extra stories that were pointless. So on to Guardians of the Galaxy Annual #1. This is divided into 4 parts. So you have Faith by Donny Cates, A Long Time in Politics by Al Ewing, Advent Horizon by Teenie Howard, and You Only Young Twice by Zach Thompson and Lonnie Nadler. So, A Long Time in Politics follows what Nova is doing. So, he's in a bar, he meets Quasar, and they're drinking over over what happened 8 days ago, where Nova saved a planet from the Skrulls, but then the Skrull Empire decided to remove a treaty, seeing that the planet has failed them, to remove a treaty to keep it under its protection, and destroys it. So, and Nova having to live with the terribleness of just politics in general, and having witnessed people that did nothing wrong suffer and die because of it. Then the next story, which follows Adam Warlock, Advent Horizon, he finds himself on planet Ryaz and meets the Druff, who believe who he is their god. But even after he persuades them that he's not their god, they believe he's the herald of their god, who sent them food to keep them alive, hence why they're worshipping this god. And Adam goes to confront who this god is, and it reveals it has ulterior motives for the people that worship it. So Adam deals with this god. And then the last story, You're Only Young Twice, deals with something goes wrong with Darkhawk, the Darkhawk armor, and Christopher Powell, the user of it. And while they were trapped in the black hole during the events of Guardians of the Galaxy, it's caused them to split from one another. And as they reunited, they're saved somewhere in the black sometime later. That's very specific. They find out, well, Christopher finds out there's something wrong with his body. So, no, and the main overall story, Faith, which is supposed to try and connect all of these things together by Cates, is someone has taken control of Cosmo the space dog and is looking for any survivors that escaped from the black hole in Guardians of the Galaxy. And this is all leading up to the next story arc within Guardians of the Galaxy. So over story-wise, I'll rate them all together. So for Faith, A Long Time in Politics, Advent Horizon, You're Only Young Twice. Overall, 3 out of 5. They were kind of average. They weren't particularly interesting. They were kind of there. The art in Faith by John McCrea and coloring by Mike Spicer. 3 out of 5. It was okay art. It was okay coloring. The art in A Long Time in Politics by Yilderi Sinar and coloring by Rain Burrito. 4.5 out of 5. It's definitely where the art and coloring was at its best within this story. In Advent Horizon, art and coloring by Ibrahim Mustafa and J. David Ramos. Gonna give that a 4 out of 5. That was definitely some good art and coloring in that part. And You're Only Young Twice, which was the art and coloring, which was by Philippe Andrade and Mike Spicer. 3 out of 5. It was average looking art, but honestly, you don't really need to pick this up. The cover. I got the Ron Lim cover. I think it was much more appealing, in my opinion. So 4 out of 5 for the cover. Although I kind of wish this was the actual story we got, just after escaping the black hole, Cosmo, Darkhawk, Nova, Quasar, and Adam Warlock just team up. That would have been a much more interesting story than the ones we got in here. So on to Marvel Team Up featuring Spider-Man and Miss Marvel, issue number 3. This is the end of the first story arc and the end of Evel Ewing's run on this. It's a different writer from number 4 onwards. So written by Evel Ewing, art by Joey Vasquez with Moy R, coloring by Philippe Sobrero, the cover by Stefana Caselli and Triona Farrell. So Spidey and Miss Marvel, trapped in each other's body, are sick of their situation and believe it's going to be permanent unless they find Dr. Rosario. They find her. She's been kidnapped by the Jackal. They are able to deal with the Jackal once and for all, and Dr. Rosario gives them a solution to fix their problems. The trade-off is they will lose all memory of everything that's happened in Marvel Team Up, from the first instance that they swapped bodies till now. They'll forget everything from the start, middle, and end of all of that. But they're okay with that, mainly because they get their bodies back in the end. So that was it. There was a simple end to the story. So story, I'll give it 3.5 out of 5. It was good. It didn't waste time. It flowed nicely. Quick, simple end to the story. Jackal was particularly a weak villain in this, but it wasn't really about the villain for this story arc. But I was okay with what I got from this. The art and the coloring, 3.5 out of 5. That was good. I liked it. Pretty good art and good art and coloring. I mean, Peter's still looking a bit paler than usual, but I'll let it slide for now. The cover by Stefano Caselli and Triona Farrell. 3.5 out of 5 out of that. Good looking cover. Like the art, like the coloring on that. On to Savage Avengers #2. Written by Jerry Dugan. Art by Mike Deodato Jr. The coloring by Frank Martin. The cover by David Finch and Frank Diamata. So we learn a bit more of the one that's helping lead these rituals. Johann, I believe his name, Johann Richter, who became trapped in the Savage Lands, became an apprentice, a student to Kulan Garth, who is the real figurehead that's a part of these rituals. So Wolverine tries to stop Richter and the Hand. He proceeds to resurrect Voodoo by using his blood. Given Wolverine's whole healing factor, he believes that will work. And Conan encounters Kulan Garth and unintentionally releases Venom, who seems to be part of his plans as well. And towards the end, Punisher finally arrives in the Savage Lands, also a part of Kulan Garth and Richter's plans as well. So, story, 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it. It was nice and simple. It was mainly there for the action, but it was nice and simple. We learned a bit more about the villains for this story arc. Kulan Garth and Johann Richter, at least so far, their intentions are at least also Richter's origins as well. But I liked it. I think it was good. Some nice looking action scenes. Plot is progressing very well. Elektra still hasn't appeared in this series properly, apart from the Free Comic Book Day stuff. But given that solicits for this issue, she's not even mentioned. I'll let it slide because she doesn't even appear in this book. The art and coloring, 4 out of 5. I really like the art and coloring in this. It's pretty good. Pretty good art and coloring. Definitely for this from the middle onwards is where I definitely like the art and the coloring. The cover, 4 out of 5. Art and coloring is good on that. Although this doesn't happen. You don't have Wolverine fighting Conan. That was in the first issue that they briefly fought. So don't know why they have it for the standard cover here for this issue, but regardless, the art and coloring on that was really good. So on to New Agents of Atlas #3. Grave miscalculations. You failed as a leader, Amadeus. We've lost because of you. Yeah, take that, Go-Good Hulk. So, written by Greg Park, art by Gang Hyuk Lim, coloring by Federico Blee, Andreas Moser, Eric Arciniega, the cover by Wu Daishin. So, the New Agents of Atlas in their secret hideout in Seoul all begin their plans to free all of Asia from Queen Cinder's grasp, and they head back to Seoul for their plan. Well, mainly Amadeus Cho heads back to Seoul. He faces off against Cinder and the Fire Goblins by himself, while Wave, Arrow, and Lunar Snow start to gather water and ice, since it's highly effective against fire, mainly, while the remainder of the New Agents of Atlas, they all begin training under Sun Wukong for reasons that have yet to be explained. So, story, 3 out of 5. It was kind of average. This whole, I'll get to the cover later, but story was okay. It progressed alright, but it wasn't particularly that interesting. This whole, first part of them in their hideout could have just been taken out. It wasn't necessary. And, I don't know, they make this weird deal about spam. I don't know if that's supposed to be some Asian stereotype. I must have forgotten about it. I've never heard of it before, given I'm half Filipino. But everyone's like, oh my god, spam? oh shit, we're about to fucking party right now. We got spam now. Who cares about War of the Realms? We got fucking spam right here. We got some spam fried rice. We got spam masubi, spam salog. Like, holy yeah, like this whole like all of this doesn't need to be in this comic. It wasn't interesting at all. It wasn't even necessary. But the rest of it was okay. The art and coloring, 3 out of 5. I think the art and coloring was definitely much stronger in the parts in Downtown Seoul where Cho is. I think that's where the art and coloring was at its best. But overall, it was okay. The cover, 3 out of 5. Average looking cover. The art, I don't know. The coloring looks a bit weird. The art wasn't particularly that bad unless you look at their faces. But this whole cover, this whole you failed as a leader, Amadeus. We've lost because of you. Doesn't happen. This Amadeus doesn't cause the team to lose because of his decisions. None of this happens in the comic. It's misleading. It's just Amadeus comes up with a plan, and it seems to be working. There is no hint that it actually fails. But yeah, it was an okay issue. So that was it for this first of OZChris versus Marvel Comics. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.